In today's video, we're diving into a massive issue that's shaking up the US farming industry. Canada's recent moves have sent shockwaves through American agriculture, and the ripple effects are being felt across the nation. If you're a farmer or even just curious about how this impacts the food you eat, stick with us as we break down the background, recent twists, and potential fallout of this ongoing trade drama. Let's get into it. To really understand what's happening right now, we need to rewind and look at the long history of trade between the US and Canada. These two countries have been economically intertwined for years, with agriculture at the heart of their relationship. Think about it. US farmers have long relied on Canada as one of their biggest markets for products like grains, livestock, and dairy. On the flip side, Canadian farmers depend on the vast American market to sell their goods. This partnership was solidified through major trade agreements like NAFTA and later the USMCA. These deals made it easier for goods to flow freely across the border, benefiting both sides. But hold on, things have taken a dramatic turn. Let's talk about what's happening now. Trade tensions between the US and Canada are escalating. The US has imposed a 25% tariff on a range of Canadian goods, including agricultural products, shaking things up. This was part of a broader plan to protect American industries and lower the trade deficit. But here's the kicker. Canada didn't take it lying down. They hit back with their own tariffs on American products like corn, soybeans, and beef. Now, the entire farming community is feeling the heat. So, who's suffering the most from these tariffs? Let's break it down. Dairy farmers. They've been hit hard. American dairy farmers have depended on Canada for years to buy their products. But now, with these tariffs, exporting dairy to Canada has become much more expensive, leading to lower demand and falling prices. For many dairy farms, it's a financial nightmare. Many are struggling just to stay afloat, trying to make ends meet while their futures hang in the balance. Grain farmers, especially those growing corn and soybeans, they're also caught in the crossfire. Canada has been a huge buyer of American grains, but retaliatory tariffs are disrupting that. Prices have dropped, and farmers are stuck with surplus crops they can't sell. This isn't just bad for their bottom line, it's bad for the entire industry. With low commodity prices and fierce competition from other countries, these farmers are feeling squeezed on all sides. Livestock farmers, beef and pork producers, are also feeling the sting as the cost of exporting livestock to Canada has skyrocketed. This drives down demand and sends prices into a tailspin. Imagine running a business where your revenues are plummeting while your costs are soaring. That's the reality for many livestock farmers right now. Some are even being forced to downsize or scramble to find new markets. But wait, this isn't just about the farmers. There's a bigger picture here. Small farms versus big agriculture. The divide is growing. The impact isn't felt equally across the board. While large corporate farms may have the resources to weather this storm, smaller family-owned farms are really struggling. Many don't have the financial cushion to absorb these extra costs, leading to an acceleration of farm consolidation, where bigger operations buy up struggling ones. That's a big shift that could permanently reshape the agricultural landscape. And on top of that, there's the human side of things. Farmers already face enough stress from unpredictable weather and market instability. Now, this trade conflict is adding even more pressure. The emotional toll is real. Families and entire communities are living with uncertainty. Financial struggles are mounting, and mental health concerns among farmers are becoming a serious issue. This isn't just about numbers. It's about people's lives. So, What happens next? The uncertainty could send ripple effects far beyond the farming world. If these tariffs remain in place, entire local economies could feel the impact. Businesses that rely on agriculture, like equipment suppliers, food processors, and even restaurants, will start to suffer. Communities that depend on farming could face economic decline. And here's where things get even more interesting. The world is watching. Other countries like China, Mexico, and the EU could step in to fill the gap left by reduced trade between the US and Canada. That could create new opportunities for farmers, but also new challenges. Adjusting to new markets isn't always smooth sailing, and American agriculture could become even more vulnerable to global market volatility. Let's talk tech for a second. As farmers scramble to survive, many are turning to technology for solutions. Precision agriculture, for example, helps farmers be more efficient with water, fertilizer, and labor, essential for boosting profits in tough times. But there's a problem. These technologies are expensive, and with trade uncertainty looming, farmers are hesitant to make such costly investments. It's a tricky situation. They need innovation to stay competitive, but financial strain is making it harder than ever. The long-term outlook. This trade dispute could reshape the agricultural industry in ways we can't fully predict. If things don't improve, we might see a restructuring of US and Canadian agricultural practices. In the worst-case scenario, farmers could be pushed out of business, leading to shifts in global trade patterns that leave North American farmers struggling to keep up. However, on the other hand, new opportunities could emerge. Countries are watching closely, and if the US and Canada manage to negotiate a better deal, it could reshape North American agriculture in a more sustainable and forward-thinking way. Bottom line. This trade conflict is far from over, and its impacts are still unfolding. Farmers will continue to face difficult choices, whether to innovate or stay the course, fight for their market share, or explore new opportunities. The uncertainty is real, but one thing is certain. This situation will define the future of farming for years to come. Now let's delve even deeper into the complexities of trade tensions between Canada and the United States, examining both the immediate and long-term consequences for the agricultural sector, trade relations, and the global economy. While the focus of these trade tensions has been primarily on Canada and the United States, their effects are being felt on a much broader scale. The agricultural sector plays a crucial role in the global economy, and disruptions to the trade of essential goods, such as grains, meat, and dairy products, create ripple effects far beyond North America. Countries around the world, particularly in the European Union and Asia, are closely monitoring the situation, as it could impact global food supply chains, commodity prices, and trade agreements. The trade imbalances and tariff battles between Canada and the US reflect larger economics trends. Nations are re-evaluating their reliance on traditional trade partners, diversifying their economic engagements, and finding new ways to protect their domestic industries from the instability caused by tariffs and protectionist policies. In this context, Canada's efforts to diversify its trade partners could serve as a model for other countries seeking to shield their agricultural sectors from similar trade disputes. Canada's proactive response to trade tensions with the US not only protects its agricultural interests, but also signals a broader shift in global trade. By increasing exports to the European Union and China, Canada is positioning itself as a key player in the evolving global marketplace. As the world's second-largest exporter of agricultural goods, Canada's ability to adapt to new trade dynamics is crucial for maintaining its standing on the global stage. This shift is also changing how Canadian farmers approach their business models. Instead of relying primarily on the US market, they are now being pushed to innovate, explore alternative markets, and take advantage of international trade agreements that may offer more favorable terms. These adjustments are reshaping Canadian agriculture, from production strategies to export logistics. Moreover, as Canada strengthens its economic ties with China, it could experience growing demand for products such as canola, soybeans, and other key agricultural commodities. While this new trade relationship presents challenges, particularly in navigating the political complexities of dealing with China, it provides an essential safeguard against the uncertainty created by the ongoing trade conflict with the United States. In the US, farmers have borne the brunt of the trade dispute, particularly in sectors highly dependent on exports to Canada. The imposition of tariffs has led to lost markets and, in many cases, lower profits for American farmers. While the US government argues that these tariffs are necessary to correct trade imbalances, the reality on the ground is much more complicated. The prices of agricultural commodities have been volatile, and many American farmers have found themselves at the mercy of global market fluctuations. With tariffs in place, products that once moved freely between the US and Canada now face higher costs, reducing their competitiveness in international markets. US farmers are considering alternative export markets, but the disruption has created uncertainty, making it difficult to predict future trends and income stability. Additionally, American farmers have voiced concerns about the long-term sustainability of this tariff-heavy approach. There is growing demand for more comprehensive trade policies that address farmers' interests rather than relying solely on punitive measures against trade partners.